Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today we're taking some of your calls. Yes, it's an Ask the Pulpit episode. Full disclosure, I'm pre-recording because I'm in PCA right now, and, the Ask the Pulpit calls are usually good ones for me to, when I'm banking up a whole bunch of them and burning through show ideas and everything, the Ask the Pulpit calls are really, really good ones for me to be able to get some stuff in there and not have to do much thinking. So I like it. I appreciate it. And I like your calls. So it all works out. So today, I've been digging in the humidor again, and I found something different. And I'm like, you know what? I liked it. I liked the last one that I had. So let's try this one. So I am smoking today the West Tampa Tobacco Red Lancero. It's a 7x40 featuring a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, binder from the Condega region of Nicaragua, and filler from Condega and Esteli in Nicaragua as well. I recently smoked the West Tampa Tobacco White Lancero, and that was delightful. And so when I came across this, I was like, my God, I have another West Tampa Lancero, and it's a different one than the last one. So I'm like, do it. Let's do it. So it's time to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. Now, I want to correct something, because the last time I talked about West Tampa Tobacco and Two Guys Cigars, I believe I said that they didn't have the Lanceros available on their website. And I'm wrong. I'm actually on their website right now. It does have the notify me. But you can get a single of the West Tampa Tobacco. They don't have boxes, but they do have singles. You can get the single of the West Tampa Red Lancero for $11.79. And they have the black in a Lancero. They have the box for $206.99. And they have the single for $11.79. And they have the white available in a Lancero by the box for $206.99. And the single for $11.79. So you can get the white, the black, and the red in Lancero form from 2guyscigars.com for $206.99 for the box, $11.79 for the single. How many are in the box? I think it's like 20. Let's just 20. So $206.99 divided by 20. Dude, that's $10.35 per cigar. So it was what, $11.79 for the single? Yeah, $11.79 for the single, so $11.79 minus $10.35. You're saving $1.44 per cigar by doing it by the box. So, you know what? It's a good deal. I'm telling you, that West Tampa Tobacco White was absolutely lights out in the Lancero form. And I'm not one that normally believes that the Vitola makes that significant of a difference. But for that cigar, it definitely did. And I'm curious if the West Tampa Tobacco Red will be similar. So, now that I've cut the cigar, let's go ahead and give this guy a light. And while I light the cigar, you guys will hear the greatest commercial you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars use authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a cigar fired up. We've done the business, and it's time now to go ahead and jump into the collective brains of the listeners.
Shall we play a game?
You talking to me? I have a question for you.
You gotta ask me nicely.
Ask me about my winner.
You got a question? You ask the 8-ball.
Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
It is time for Ask the Pulpit. So, guys, if you want to get your calls in on the next Ask the Pulpit, you can call the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000, or tofu pie with no E, 0000. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into it. We got a handful of calls here, and we'll go from here. So, starting off.
Hey, Nick, this is listener Jay.
What up, Jay?
Listen to the newest episode about Ask the Boys, and you're commenting on the Toyota truck.
Yep.
And I started giggling 'cause I believe it's part of the Toyota Hilux, which was big in the States until about the 80s when they turned into an auto truck, but it's the official truck of the Taliban and all overseas in Afghanistan because they use them everywhere.
Oh,
We
God.
get a description of there'd be 4 guys armed in a Toyota Hilux speaking some foreign accent that we don't know, but those trucks do run and they get beat to hell, and they're all overseas. There was that one company that had sold their truck and it ended up overseas somehow on either Taliban or an ISIS page that had his logo on the side of it, and he was highly upset. So just wanted to put that in there. I found it kind of funny and started giggling while I'm at work. But stay smoky, and thanks for the entertainment.
Thanks for the call, Jay. I didn't know that was the official truck of the Taliban, but in all fairness, the damn thing runs ridiculously well based upon all the tests that the guys on the Top Gear put it through, and obviously the tests that the Taliban put it through. So, I mean, I guess that's a good endorsement for Toyota trucks, or at least that specific truck. But, man, that's kind of like, I don't know. Is that an endorsement you put on the postcard? Do you highlight that endorsement, or do you just kind of let that one lie and you hope you get another one that you can prop up bigger? Yeah. And I think I know what guy you're talking about. It was like a plumber or something like that had like a plumbing business, and he sold his truck, but it had his logo on the side. And next thing you know, ISIS is driving around in it and everything. Yeah, he did get pretty pissed, I think. But I do know that story. I do know what you're talking about. But yeah, no, didn't know that. Didn't know that the Toyota Hilux was the official truck of the Taliban there. That's unfortunate for Toyota because they made a hell of a sturdy truck. But I guess good quality is recognized no matter how crazy you might be. So anyway, thanks for the call, Jay. Alrighty, next call here.
Hey, Jerry Blaze here.
Oh boy,
I am on my way to do a court-appointed public service announcement where I have to be the Easter Bunny.
Oh,
as it turned out, in regards to the statute of the state of Wisconsin from previous convictions. Ew. My question is as an Easter Bunny, is it a felony or a misdemeanor to misplace the prospective Easter eggs there as a funny prank or a thought-inducing experiment there? I would like to know there, because I plan on not only misplacing and the Easter eggs, in which case I would find that it would be an Easter egg hunt, as opposed, not so much as a hunt as opposed to a never found, as it turns out. But not only that, as it turns out, I would like to also put different prizes there in the Easter eggs, like lottery tickets, condoms, psoriasis medication, as it were, to toughen the youth, as it were. So my question to the pulpit there is, should I relinquish my status as a court-appointed Easter Bunny, or should I use this as an opportunity to shine? Your feedback would be most welcome, as it turns out. Thank you. Jerry Pulaski out.
All right. This is probably one of the first calls from Jerry in all the years that I've been receiving calls from Jerry Pulaski, where you can clearly hear the blackberry brandy working on the brain. Jerry, you drunk dialed me, and I appreciate it. I'm here for it. That was funny as shit. So, based upon what you were calling, I'm just drilling it down here. You are a court-appointed, or were, because we're after Easter now. We're a court-appointed Easter Bunny. And your question was, should you or should you not fill the eggs with rather adult material and do a never found instead of a hunt because you were going to misplace the eggs somewhere else? I am all for it, Jerry. I think the idea of having an Easter egg with lottery tickets and condoms, I don't really need the psoriasis medicine, but, I mean, why not? Go ahead and fill those bastards up with some fun stuff and, put them wherever. I like the idea. I mean, yeah, I'd be all in for an Easter egg hunt where there's a prospect that I get a scratcher that wins me $1 million. I don't know, just a thought. It'd be cool. Yeah, I like this idea. But Jerry, I'm more just kind of wondering, like, so you it doesn't have a time stamp on the call, does it? No, it just has the date. It doesn't have a time stamp. Damn it. I was really hoping I could see, like, what time of the day you called, because it feels like that was pretty early in the day. So, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to know. I'd like to know. So, but anyway, yeah. I'm loving that you called in drunk. Loving that you called in drunk. It's amusing as hell. Super obvious that you called in drunk. I think it's great. So yeah, I appreciate the call there, Jerry. I don't have anything else. I'm sorry. I'm scanning ahead to see with this app, if somebody calls more than once, it kicks it to the most recent call. And so I was checking to see if this person had happened to call earlier, and they did. And so I am now going to start that. We have a number of calls from this caller. But I'm going to assume they're quality because they have been in the past. based upon this. So yes, let's sorry. I'm losing my mind. All right. First call here.
What's up, Nick? Hey, this is Dakota.
What up, Dakota?
Okay, you just got finished talking about, actually, first, before I say that, I opened up my phone to call you, and because Cigar Pulpit, right, it starts with a C, I only have so many people on my, like, whatever, starred, favorited, whatever it's called, list of numbers, so I don't have to, keep searching through my phone or type anything in. It's just
I'm a
there.
favorite.
So historically, the Cigar Pulpit, your hotline here, Tofu Pie, has been at the top of that list. All right.
Whoa.
Now, my wife is hilarious, and her name starts with a K. Her name being Krista. Well, for the longest time, I had her as like Krista Baby, right? And she was just looking at my phone for some reason. I don't know what I think we were watching videos, and somebody called me, and she saw my contacts, and she's like, huh. And so she took my phone, and she changed her name from Krista, started with a K, and did period, space, my beautiful wife, all right? And though that sounds like something I would put, minus the period space, into my phone, she told me that it is she should be the first name in the phone, the alphabet be damned. So anyway, there's a fun little story for you.
So I got pushed to the
box
end.
press versus round cigars, and we all know you're a very big fan of round cigars. But so what's weird, right, is I don't think they all taste better, but I think in general, box press cigars have a stronger flavor profile. Not profile. Maybe I could just taste it. I don't know. But that was my thought for a while. I preferred the box press cigars, and yes, I support that they don't roll off a table because, dude, I don't always have an ashtray with me. Man, I might just be out and I got my little Villiger exports in there and I can set them down on a table. I don't have an ashtray, man. It's useful. That's a real thing. But no, they do for some reason. I feel like the box press versions that have box pressed in round cigars just taste better. And I think it was Mr. Jonathan. I'm pretty sure I'm about to run out of freaking time. You know what?
You are.
I'm going to cut myself off first and I'm going to call back. So hold on.
Okay. I will let him continue this thought, and then I will respond to this.
Hey, it's me again. Anyway, so I could be wrong. I'm kind of forgetful about some things, but I feel like on Cigar Authority, I heard this way back when, I don't know when, and it might have even been Mr. Jonathan that mentioned it. I don't know. And I don't know if this is a proven thing. Maybe it's just a theory that he put out there that somebody did. But apparently, in my mind, when you box press a cigar, all right, so you do put a little bit less filler in there so that you can actually box press it. That way it's not too full, so that when you box press it, it's able to maintain its shape and it's not, overly full. Well, apparently the action of that box press squeezes the filler a little bit more and allows the oils of the tobacco to mix better, right? So that the flavor melds a little better. I don't know if that's true. I feel like I heard that somewhere, and I'm not smart enough to invent that myself. So I don't know. Maybe Mr. Jonathan will call in and be like, he's an idiot. He don't know what he's talking about. And it's probably true. But, yeah, so just box press. That's my pick. I mean, bye.
I'm willing to go with it. I have no reason not to go with it. It makes a little sense, I guess. I don't know. I'm willing to accept that. And I know in the past I've experimented with a cigar that I got my hands on that was both round and box pressed. So it's the same cigar, just both. I I know I've done that experiment in the past, but for the life of me, I can't remember how that experiment actually like ended, how it worked out. It's just a personal preference thing for me. And I have to question you on this, Dakota. Like you're just putting your cigar down on a table like a savage. I mean, like, are you burning the table with the lid end of your cigar? Are you letting the lid end hang off the cigar or edge of the table? If so, that seems slightly like it's problematic because, I mean, especially if it's a little Villiger export. I mean, my God, that thing's not very big. It's not very heavy. It could go flying off relatively easily. I don't know. Seems you guys are playing fast and loose with your box press cigars, and I don't know what's up with that. Sorry, the Lancero went out. That's on me. But yeah. Now my bigger thing I want to talk about. I got pushed down the list. I was top of the freaking favorites list, and I got pushed down the list. Your wife's a very lovely woman. I understand. And I understand the whole happy wife, happy life. I kind of hate that phrase, but that's a whole different thing. You know, but nonetheless, I got pushed down. The alphabet is the alphabet. Damn it, if we cannot stick to the freaking alphabet, what do we have? What do we have? We're living in a world right now where everybody makes up their own facts about everything. Nothing is what you think it is because at any given time, someone could come up with an alternate set of facts that fits their narrative and suddenly you have conflict. You can't trust anything because AI has made it to where you can't even trust your own effing eyes anymore. Palm Beach Pete is Jeffrey Epstein and friggin' half the people are like questioning it because whatever. So you've got psyops going on like that. And now you're telling me I can't even trust the effing alphabet because of a period in a space. It's crap. It's crap. I'm sorry, Krista. I'm sorry that you were named a name that starts with K. I'm sorry. It's in this exact moment. I think it's a lovely name, but in this exact moment, it's not fair. It's not fair. An alternate could have been, you could have just put baby. She would have been above me at that point in your favorites list, and it would have kept the rules of the alphabet. But right now, I just feel cheated, and I just want that for the record. Anyway, all right, moving on. Dakota called again.
Hey, Nick.
What's
up, dude? So, okay, so I heard that you like spray for dandelions and stuff, and I'm sure, I don't know, 90% of the people, 98, 99% of the people that listen in on this podcast probably do the same thing, but come on, man. My hippie ass, that hurt me a little bit. So, cool thing, a little bit more about dandelions. They're very good for you. And as I said, they're originally from Europe, from the phrase dent de lion, which is teeth of the lion. If you look at the leaves, they're kind of spiky. I mean, they don't hurt spiky, but they just look spiky. Mm-hmm. That's where they get their name from, is the leaves. And those are very, very good for you. You can actually eat every part of the dandelion. I'm sure you've heard that before. Mm-hmm. But it's high in vitamin K, vitamin A, vitamin C. It's high in fiber, magnesium, potassium, iron. There's a ton of antioxidants. In fact, it's a great diuretic for somebody like me that's passed more than their share of freaking kidney stones. It's actually pretty good for it. So, yeah, I mean, maybe if you're on blood thinners because of all the vitamin K, don't eat dandelions. But I'm just saying, man, like I've even read or heard and read actually that, what is it? The poorer folks during the medieval times over there in the European area, they would pick grass out of their yard so that there's more room for things to grow like nettle and dandelion, the things that they could eat that was provided to them for free with a lot of nutrients in it. So yeah, man, why don't you be like the peasants of the medieval era and then you pick out your grass, man. Tell your HOA what for. Jane Goodall, besmirches the good name of Jane Goodall. Let her freak out. Just put more dandelions in there, dude. Just saying. Dandelions can be life-giving. I don't know. No, but for real, they're actually really cool and really good for you. And dandelion tea is actually pretty good. But anyway, bye.
There's going to be plenty of dandelions in my yard after my child has been over here because every time one of them goes to seed, he runs over and kicks it. So I know that next year there will be plenty of dandelions blooming in my lawn. I've heard all this. I've heard all this about dandelions. A ghost of co-hosts past would talk about all the different weeds in my lawn and how, I could make a fantastic salad with this and this and this and this and this. And I don't know. Dakota, I live enough of a life like a peasant in the state of the economy as it is right now. I don't need to be plucking weeds out of my yard to eat too. The real question to all of this about the dandelion, the real thing that I think we all need to know is, are there lectins in dandelions? Are there lectins in dandelions? Because if there are not, then I think all of us should box up our dandelions. We should pluck them, box them up, and we should send them to Mr. Jonathan. And I think that we should send them to Mr. Jonathan, care of Two Guys Cigars at 304 South Broadway, Salem, New Hampshire, 03079. That's Mr. Jonathan, care of Two Guys Cigars at 304 South Broadway, Salem, New Hampshire, 03079. Just box up your dandelions. They're dandelions. They can't weigh much. Box up your dandelions. Tape that bit shut. Write lectin free on the box and send it to Mr. Jonathan, care of Two Guys Cigars, 304 South Broadway, Salem, New Hampshire, 03079. I think he would love it. He could receive so much salad mixing material from all of you. I think it would be a great, I think this is great. Dakota, you have inspired this idea. I think this is a wonderful thing. The man, he's limited as to what he can eat. And so, I think, I'm just assuming that there's no lectins in dandelions because, they have all these other things that you've named off, all these other nutrients and stuff. And, I think it could be good for him. So yeah, I like it. Guys, remember, box up go pluck your dandelions out of the lawn, put them in a box, pack it in tight, and send it to Mr. Jonathan, care of Two Guys Cigars at 304 South Broadway, Salem, New Hampshire, 03079. I think it's a good idea. All right. Dakota, you called a handful of times. That's 3. We got a couple more here from you, but you call with good stuff. So I'm gonna keep rolling. And quite frankly, I don't have any other call. Well, I think somebody else called, so we'll do that.
What's up, Nick?
What up, Dakota?
I listened to your Ask the Pulpit before I listened to your thing with the oh my gosh, the two people, Teddy. There we go.
Oh, Teddy and Trey.
Anyway, I was just listening to that now, And it was mentioned that Wilmington, oh my gosh, I messed this whole thing up. It was mentioned that Wilmington, North Carolina was visited. So that immediately brought to mind that, did you know that the U.S.'s only successful governmental coup took place in Wilmington, North Carolina? It was in 1898, called the Wilmington Insurrection of 1898, also called the Wilmington Massacre of 1898, because it was an absolute and utter bloodbath done by just literally the most heinous people, just the most heinous group of people that has probably ever existed, came upon Wilmington, North Carolina. 500 of them, in fact, and massacred a very vast majority of them. And it was the only successful governmental coup. And the reason was Wilmington in 1898 was actually really progressive, I guess. It was run by white and black folks, right? Oh. So it was incredibly integrated, especially for the time. To the point Klansmen, where they actually elected a state-level senator in 1898 named Dr. Thomas Oscar Fuller, the first black man to be elected into state government in North Carolina, right? Well, of course, these white supremacists didn't like that stuff. I'm trying not to cuss. I don't know why I'm trying not to cuss. I can cuss on here. Them motherfuckers, look, they came upon Wilmington and killed freaking everybody, non-discriminately, because, you know, the black folks and the white folks, they got along, so they had to kill them all, right? Almost. I'm sure it wasn't the entire freaking town. And it's really dark, and it's really stupid. But anyway, it brought that to mind. And if anybody's interested in history, Wilmington's Lie, because they covered that forever. They never taught that. They tried to hide that history, and then some college students figured it out, and then they got brought to light. And it was just the whole thing. It's the whole thing is interesting. Of course, not the act. That was heinous, and they all need extra assholes blown into them. But anyway. Also, on a completely unrelated note, where am I at on time? Oh, my gosh.
You were cut off. That's where... What a way for that call to end. Holy shit. And, oh, my gosh, that got dark. I mean, granted, for whatever reason, when you said about 500 pieces of shit, I was like, all right, we're going to be talking the Klan here in a second. And sure enough, close enough. That's interesting, though. I did not realize any of that. That is interesting. So let's hear what the follow-up was.
I guess I got really flustered. It is really late for me. I don't like working the night shift, right? Or I say the night shift, the closing shift for the park, because I'm a very much morning person, and I don't want to work in the dark. It's just, I'm solar powered, man. I lose all of my will to do a damn thing if the sun goes down. I don't want to do it.
Night owl.
Anyway, I ran out of time because I got really flustered and just started rambling and saying stupid things in weird orders, but I got the point across. I also, on a completely unrelated note, wanted to mention that it's highly ironic that a man with such hoity-toity opinions on food is named after McDonald's chicken nuggets. In all reality, I love you. You will forever be a legend on this podcast, and all callers forever. In fact, I think you're the only one with an actual nickname, which is actually really cool. But anyway, peace.
Actually, that is accurate. I do believe he is the only one with a nickname. We have Boots. Yeah. You did get flustered there, man. And I get it. Now, here's my question. Working the night shift, or what is the night shift at the park? Is it, I mean, you're saying it's dark, so whatever. I'm very big into cryptids. The critter, the animals. You hear all about the legends in the Appalachian Mountains about, like, if you hear screaming, don't pursue it because it's a cryptid trying to get you, this and that and whatever. I gotta know, what kind of freaking crazy, wacky shit you seeing and hearing out in the woods at night? Nothing petrifies me more than the woods at night. Well, I can't say nothing, but it's pretty high up on the list. I see these videos of these people camping and shit fucking with their tents and everything, and they're the only ones there, and it's like, oh my God, what's out there? And it's like, I mean, just from the practical side of things, it could be a critter. It could be like a bear or a bobcat or something like that. But the imagination and the mind takes you to all kinds of different places. And let's be real, not like I haven't had my own set of experiences living at the duplex and all the crazy shit that happened there. So like my mind goes places. And so when you start talking about the woods at night, yeah, that's freaky shit. And I don't want any part of that. And so I got to ask, Dakota, work in the woods at night, you have to have encountered some sort of like, get that feeling of dread, you know, that fight or flight. And it's just like, I got a flight, you know, kind of deal. Like what kind of wacky shit have you encountered in the woods at night? Because I'm telling you, you cannot tell me that you haven't encountered anything in your time doing it. Like you've had some sort of weird woodland experience. I don't believe that you haven't. Anyway, let's check to make sure. No, we still got one more from Dakota before we move to another caller, and then I think, jump back to Dakota. So anyway, one more from Dakota here.
What's up, Nick? How you doing? Dakota. So just listening to the very excellent episode that that your dad and Ken took over. Very fond of that, but I have a couple things for Jim. First of all, about Canada, if there's another thing. So Canada's really brilliant because what they do is they pack all of their asshole in their geese and then ship them down south for us to deal with, so that they're just a happy society, apparently.
There is some truth to that.
It's pretty ingenious. I think we should pass the buck to, Mexico and South America, but they got a bunch of other stuff to deal with, I guess.
Say, man.
Anyway, also, the thing about the backwards hat thing, that's only if they do it because they think it makes them cool. I will swear up and down that wearing a hat backwards is a strategic thing. Working outside all the time when I'm facing away from the sun and my Irish ass, my neck will burn. So sometimes I'll take my hat, if I forget to bring my bucket hat. I'll wear my hat backwards so that the bill casts shade over the back of my neck and I'm not as burnt at the end. So there's strategy to wearing things in such a manner. Those are my two things.
Okay.
Hope y'all enjoyed it. Peace.
That is a very valid point, and as a fine-skinned individual myself, I support that hat theory. I look goofy as shit in a bucket hat. That is not something that I am going to do. Personally, I think I look goofy as shit in a hat in general, as I'm wearing one at this exact moment, but that's neither here nor there. I am not the biggest hat guy in general, but a bucket hat I do not do. Now you're talking about Canada packing all their assholeness into the goose and then sending it to us so that they can live happy. And I get what you're saying about us packing up all of our assholeness and shipping it to another country, south as well, like they have done. But Dakota, I'm going to say this. Don't you feel like we kind of shit on Mexico and South America enough? I kind of feel like we kind of shit on Mexico and South America enough. Granted, I feel like in some cases, not all cases, but in some cases, there are some times they're not helping themselves. I feel like there has to be a certain level of effort put forth as well. And I do feel like at times maybe, when you elect I guess, did you elect a dictator? Or did you think he was a good guy and then he turns around and becomes an asshole? Or did you kind of just not have a choice? I don't know. My point is, I feel like they got enough on their plate. I don't know if we need to shift our assholeness to them. I think America just kind of has to figure out a way to just live with our assholeness and tamp it down. Somewhere along the line, we have to tamp down the assholeness. And we haven't, as a world, been too great at that. Especially in the last 20 years. 20 years. 22 years. Maybe 24 years. I don't know. We haven't been great at it. And I think we need to get a lot better. A lot sooner. Because shit's gotten all kinds of crazy. And I feel like the assholeness level just keeps rising and rising and rising. And at some point, it's going to be too much. So, while I support Canada in their effort to live a happy life and to ship their assholeness in bird form to us, I feel like at some point, somebody needs to just own it, find a way to tamp it down, and eliminate some of it. And by God, if anybody can do it, America can do it. Because we can do anything when we actually want to do something. Anyway, it's my public service announcement on that. Moving on to a new caller here.
Hey, Nick. Jeff from Minnesota.
What up, Jeff?
Just want to call and say thanks for all the great things you do for the cigar industry. Love the entertainment. Love the stories. Great podcast. That's all I want to say. You the man.
Jeff, I appreciate that little just call of love. Out of nowhere. Just a little call of love. Now, Jeff, you were the one who won the prize vault on the Cigar Authority. And I want to congratulate you on that because you won yourself a big old $1,000 shopping spree, and that's pretty nice. You came on to one of the Zoom herfs, and you showed us or talked to us all about everything you bought. And you bought quite a haul. $1,000 went a long way over at Two Guys there. I was pretty impressed with everything that you got. And then, you crazy son of a bitch, you turn around and just out of nowhere blast a care package my way with some cigars in it. And that just randomly shows up in my mail. And I'm like, who the hell sent me stuff? And it was you. And for the life of me, I don't know what I did to deserve it, but I appreciate it greatly. So I want to thank Jeff for sending me a Henry Clay Warhawk Rebellious, which, if anybody's listened to this at any length of time, you know I love that cigar. I love that cigar. And I have a meeting with Altadis at PCA. In fact, the next day? Either the next day or the day after, or 2 days after this airs, I will be sitting down with someone from Altadis. And in and amongst our conversation that I will have with them, I will express how much I desperately want them to make the Henry Clay Warhawk Rebellious a more regular release. Twice in 5 years is just, it's outrageous. It needs to be a more regular release. But he sent me that. He sent me an American by J.C. Newman with the 200 America 250 labeling on it. I love that cigar, and I appreciate that. He sent me a Tampa Smoker, or Tampa Smokes, Tampa Smoker, the one that J.C. Newman did, for their old school baseball team. That's pretty cool. I've never had that. I'm looking forward to that. He sent me a Night and Day, which was the New England Cigar Expo cigar. It's a good cigar. I took advantage of the buy 2 boxes, get a super deep discount on it when it was on sale originally. So, I have some of those, but that's a good, when you just want a cigar and maybe I don't do lawn work. I hire people for that, but it's a good cigar. He sent me something else. It was the Reviver Maduro Cigar Dojo. Never had it. Looking forward to giving that a shot. And then he sent me a Claro booster from the Claro, Klaro. They did a collaboration with Aladino, and it's rocket designed. It's like NASA, like space shuttle rocket designed. And they made the rocket, but then they had the booster pods in these like aluminum tubes that are really freaking cool. And he sent me not just the cigar, but the booster tube itself. So now, dude, you don't even have a complete set of boosters. I feel a little bad about that like you sent me the booster tube. But let me tell you, it's freaking cool. And I appreciate it greatly. I don't know what I've been doing to be living so fortunate that between you and Eric, I have been gifted some truly fantastic cigars lately. I'm living life right, somehow or another. So I appreciate it, Jeff. It was greatly appreciated. And I would like to point out, for the record, that the other night I sat and I smoked that Henry Clay Warhawk Rebellious. I got the band right here. I smoked that thing and I enjoyed it. I got 2 hours out of that thing because I slow smoked the hell out of it because I wanted to really savor it, because you don't find those around that much. They were re-released in 2024, and unfortunately, due to funding and everything else, I didn't have money to be buying a box of cigars at that point in time, and so I missed. There might be some still out there. Every time I bring this up, somebody inevitably sends me a link saying, "Oh, here it is." I just never have the money to be, dropping on a box of cigars like that. And so I don't, but but it's greatly appreciated. And I appreciate getting the care package. So thank you for the call, Jeff. Thank you for the cigars. Congratulations on the win. And, take care. All right. So Dakota called back a few days later. But I wanted to get him in the right sequence. I wanted to get him in the right date sequence there. So now that there's that, we have one more from Dakota, and then after that, we'll move on to something else.
What's up, Nick?
What up?
This is Dakota. So I'm sure I got like 3 at least voicemails. One of them might be partially unhinged. I don't know.
A little more than 3.
But so this made me think of you, Nick. So my son is starting to do his own like naturalist research, right?
Okay.
And he's part of this big junior ranger, like international junior ranger competition.
So like a rescue ranger.
And you can vote for him. He's whatever. So he's competing for that. It's all through Facebook. And he would appreciate if I was able to put it in y'all's thing, but I don't want to because anyway. And y'all's in those parishioners event. See if anybody is willing to vote for the child. Anyway, point is, what made me think of you was he does his own naturalist research now, and we have these cacao fruits that we got from the International Farmers Market, and they're kind of funky. The little seeds inside the cacao fruit is what they make chocolate out of, and cocoa and whatever.
I do know that.
So in his research, while he's researching to do a video that we put on Facebook every once a day to teach people and educate people and vie for his junior rangership, he came across the fact that cacao trees or whatever grows is actually pollinated mainly by what's called chocolate midges. A midge is a biting fly. It's a little biting black fly. And they're bastards. They're little bastards. They're terrible. You would hate them. 100% with my knowledge of your opinion on any insect whatsoever.
It's a bug.
And they would be the bane of your existence. However, you have to apparently appreciate them because without those chocolate midges, without those little bastard biting black flies, we wouldn't have cacao, right? And then therefore we wouldn't have the chocolate. And that's crazy. We got to appreciate the little things. And it's just weird. And I thought of you, and I was like, that's a catch-22 for you. I'm sure you like chocolate, man.
Look at me.
That's, there's a Dakota fun fact brought to you by Little Dakota. I mean, bye.
Look at me and tell me that you question if I like chocolate or not. Now, I find it fascinating that little fly is called a midge, because the Tootsie Rolls, the little baby chocolate Tootsie Rolls, are called Midgees. I think they got 2 E's, but or maybe they're midges, and I've been calling them Midgees. Maybe I've been putting the emphasis on the E wrong. I don't know, but here, let me do a little Googling here. Tootsie Roll. Yeah, there's 2 E's. So it's Midgees. But the little ones are called Midgees. And I find it rather ironic that the chocolate Tootsie Rolls would be called Midgees, and we have the chocolate Midgee or midge fly to thank for the chocolate. It's kind of like when you get the whole Atabey and Cohiba and when you find out the historical significance of those names with the cigar and everything like that, it's kind of like, oh, it just kind of makes the name just that much more important, and you realize, oh, it's not just named that just because. I always thought the chocolate Midgees were named Tootsie Roll Midgees because they were tiny and we were making a midget joke. But now I realize, thanks to your call, that we're actually talking about perhaps a aspect of the chocolate creation process that gave it its name. My God, you've blown my mind. This is nuts. I'll be damned. As for your boy needing votes to become like some top junior ranger or something like that, if you are comfortable, because I do recognize that it is, a child and whatever else, but if you are comfortable, I have no problem whatsoever with you posting that in the parishioners group and asking the parishioners to vote for, a junior parishioner, as it were, to be a junior ranger. I think that would be, thing. I leave that up to you, though. That is your parental right. But I'm just saying, like, I would not be like, why is someone posting their child in this group? I mean, yeah, if you're putting up a picture of like, your, did you say how old your child is? You did not. But if you were to put up a picture of like, let's say a 10-year-old smoking a cigar, yeah, I'd have a problem with that. I can't do that. That's going to get Facebook flagged. But if you, are just saying, hey, my boy is being a junior ranger and I appreciate some votes, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's fine. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for calling. I always appreciate the Ask the Pulpit episodes. It's nice to hear from all of you, and on such diverse topics as well. I mean, like, I never in a million years thought when I woke up this morning and threw on his headset that I would learn why the Tootsie Roll Midgee is called a Tootsie Roll Midgee or Midge. I don't know. Maybe the fly. You know what? Let's look at that. Let's look at that for a minute. Chocolate Midge. Is it spelled with one E? Okay. So yes, the fly is spelled with one E. Oh God. Some species bite and feed on the blood of warm-blooded animals. So, yep, I would not like them. Perceived as pests, the things you call no-see-ums, gnats, sandflies, or punkies. Anyway, yeah, so it is a little gnat, and a little fly. and it has one E, whereas the Tootsie Roll has two E's at the end. So maybe it is Midgee versus the Midge. Either which way, the fact that that's named that, and the fact the candy is named that, you cannot deny that there's a tie between the two, and my mind is blown. I have learned something today, so that makes me the cigar authority. Anyway, guys, again, thank you for calling the hotline. Call the hotline and get your calls in for future shows. Area code 863-874-0000. Now, before we get into more fun, we have a bit of news. All right, so last week, Mayor Kara Spencer of St. Louis signed into law an ordinance that will clear the way for the city to host the PCA Convention and Trade Show. Half Wheel has reported that Mayor Kara Spencer has signed Ordinance 72136, which allows for a temporary exemption at convention facilities within the city for certain events of the indoor smoking ban. This was passed by the Board of Aldermen by a 8-6 vote with one person abstaining, and it will allow the PCA Convention and Trade Show to take place at the America Center at the city's convention center. It will likely not happen anytime before 2030 because in 2026, as this episode is airing, it's happening in New Orleans. 2027, it'll be in Vegas. 28's in Vegas. 29 is back in New Orleans. But, it is in the world of possibility that it will be in St. Louis in 2030. Now, Josh Bursky of PCA thanked the city and, he's quoted saying that it's welcome news that another large-scale venue is allowing for trade show and convention smoking, blah, 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 blah. But, it's nice to see that other cities are exploring it. And he specifically says, we hope other cities like Nashville will see what St. Louis is doing and follow suit to expand options with adequate exhibitor space where smoking is permissible. Josh, don't fucking play St. Louis just so you can get to Nashville. I'm fine with Nashville down the road too. I think Nashville would be a fun city, but I got to pay for a hotel room in Nashville. I could drive to Nashville, but I'd have to pay for a hotel room. I don't have to pay for shit in St. Louis. So help a brother out and just give me a trade show in my backyard that's nice and cheap. Now, for those of you listening, you're probably thinking like, fuck, I don't want to go to St. Louis. Here's the thing. In our next episode, the April 21st episode, Tuesday, April 21st, I will be joined by Mike Brinker, former St. Louis resident, long time, grew up here, St. Louis resident. Now he's down in Georgia. But Mike will be joining me, and we are going to be spending some time talking about the pros and cons of St. Louis as a PCA host site, and basically talking about it's not as bad as you think it is. You think it's not going to be fun, but we have a lot to offer. Is it easily walkable? Not really, but let's be true. Let's be completely honest here. Let's take a look at the people going to PCA. How many of you guys are big walkers to start with? I've been there. I've been to PCA once. I'm there now. I've been to all kinds of cigar events and things like that. I've been to other trade shows. TPE, many, many years in a row. How many of you really are like, I want to go and walk? And how many of you are like, yeah, I'll take a car? So if that's the thing, that's a bullshit excuse to say, oh, I can't walk anywhere. There are some places you can walk to. There are restaurants right around the convention center. I highlight some of the downtown restaurants that are super, super good that you can visit and are within walking distance of the hotels right by the convention center. I highlight a cigar bar that is very nice, that is within walking distance of the convention center and the hotels downtown. But there is plenty to see in St. Louis outside of walking distance, but within a 10 to 15 minute car ride that is amazing. So don't completely shut out the concept of St. Louis because of things that you've heard and perceptions that you have. People talk about it being all crime-ridden and this and that and whatever. And I'm not going to tell you that it doesn't have its problems. But as long as you stay out of the extreme north side of the city and the county, you know, north of the convention center, as long as you never go north of the convention center, you'll pretty much be fine. It's a city. Does it have maybe some homeless folks? Maybe some other folks that you don't really want to interact with? Yeah, but find me another big city that you don't encounter that. I can guarantee you, as I'm in New Orleans right now, as you are listening to this, I am seeing homeless folks and folks that I don't really want to interact with. Not that I'm saying I don't want to interact with homeless folks. So there's two different categories. But you get my point. There are problems in every city. There are areas of New Orleans you should not go. Bourbon Street perhaps being one of them. As I recall last year at PCA, I think there was a shooting on Bourbon Street during PCA. I'd have to look that up and confirm that, but I'm pretty sure in my mind I'm remembering that. So it's not like PCA picks safe cities only to go to. Vegas is not exactly the safest city. Wretched shit happens in Vegas on the daily. And we go there all the freaking time. I'm bored as shit with Vegas. Everybody else, based upon my conversations with them, are bored as shit with Vegas. So I welcome PCA looking at other cities. They talk about St. Louis in here. They talk about Nashville. And apparently even Tampa is angling to try and get it. However, some people have told Half Wheel that or previous PCA leadership dismissed Tampa, their convention center, as being too small for the event. You know, whatever. Miami is apparently listed as a potential host. I'm sorry, but it's not like Miami is like, you know, the safest place on earth either. You know, you guys are used to that. The industry is used to Miami, but it's not the safest place either, you know? So this whole like, oh, it's a crime-ridden fucking hellhole. I'm sorry, but like, that's a bullshit excuse to me. Would you be saying that if we were going to Chicago? If PCA were going to Chicago, would you all be saying, oh, I don't want to go to Chicago, it's crime-ridden? No, you'd be saying, oh, in Chicago, they've got this and this and this and this and this. You'd be naming off the different things in the city that you're interested in. You just don't know what St. Louis has to offer. And so you're coming from a place of, I'm going to say this, don't take offense, ignorance. I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm saying you are uninformed of what St. Louis has to offer. And so next episode, Mike Brinker and I are doing our level damnedest best to start the discourse, to start the conversation of what St. Louis has to offer, to where maybe, just maybe, we might be able to have a good time at PCA 2030 if they happen to decide we would like to go to the Gateway to the West. Just saying. Anyway, so that was some big news. I'm excited about that, and you'll learn more about that in the next episode.
It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. we guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation.
All right, guys. So what have I been entertained by lately? So I had my son recently for the weekend. So there was a lot of Storybots and Clifford and various other cartoons on. Speaking of Storybots, there's an entire episode about how chocolate is made. I didn't learn about any flies, but I did learn about the cacao bean and how we get the chocolate from the seeds and everything. So I did know that. But what else have I watched and consumed lately? This past Sunday. So you guys are listening to this on a Friday. It would have been this past Sunday, the 12th. There was a wrestling pay-per-view. I watched that. That was entertaining as hell. I'm not going to bore you all with the details because I don't know who's into wrestling and who's not. But, here's the thing about pro wrestling. I think people like to shit on it and people like to be like, oh my gosh, it's silly and whatever else. But, is it any more silly than any other pre-scripted show, soap opera, drama, whatever? Ultimately, what it comes down to is you have a protagonist and an antagonist, and they get in a fight, and they talk and talk and talk and talk, and eventually they have to just fight it out. It's no different than an action movie. It's just instead of guns and explosions, they're flipping each other around and putting each other in holds and beating the shit out of each other. And that's fine. It's fine. All it is testosterone-fueled soap opera. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. And I embrace the goofy aspect of it. I think goofy wrestling is fun. It doesn't have to be realistic. I want it to be goofy. I think that's fun. So, you know what? Yeah, I've been watching wrestling. But I've been doing a lot of work. Leading up to these trips like this, I work my ass off because not only do I have to get the podcast, a whole bunch of them pre-recorded in the can, scheduled out, edited, everything else that comes along with that. I also have to consider everything with the newspaper and getting it all organized, prepped, ready, put together, pulled together, this and that and whatever. This time of year, I'm also selling the shit out of advertising, or at least attempting to, in order to be able to pay my taxes and take care of everything else. So between all of that, I've been super busy. And so I haven't had a lot of just TV downtime. I've been playing a lot of what's the album? There's a specific, I got out my vinyl player. It's always out, but for whatever reason, I would always, it's always out. I just, for whatever reason, I don't necessarily play it. But in terms of albums that I've been listening to lately, one of my go-tos, I've talked about it on the show before, in one of the Villiger, the Desert Island thing, which I stopped doing that, and only because, quite frankly, if you do too much of that, it's like, how much are you fucking taking to the Desert Island? There's only so many great things that you want to highlight. But anyway, that was a misstep on my part. But No Jacket Required by Phil Collins, I was listening to that album quite a bit. But the one that I've been really fixated on this week, that I've been playing a lot of, and it's just kind of been grooving in the background, has been What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. I've listened to that, and I've been digging that album. Is there a track list here? There's some good stuff on that album. I mean, it's and here we go, track listing. You got What's Going On, Mercy Mercy Me. Yeah. There's Inner City Blues. There's some good shit on that album. And so I've just kind of had that playing as I've been working and doing whatever else. So yeah, that's what I've been entertained by lately. Storybots, pro wrestling, and Marvin Gaye. If nothing else, you can't say I'm not a Renaissance man, and I diversify up my entertainment. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Now, due to some scheduling changes to these pre-recorded episodes, I was going to be doing my PCA preview episode with Sean and Danny today. But during one of the Zoom herfs that I did, Paul, who came to PCA with us last year, made a very solid argument that I should put out the PCA preview on Tuesday so that it comes out before people go to PCA. That way, anybody who's traveling to PCA and maybe is looking for information can hear it and listen to it before they get to the show. Because we had that happen last year. And so I did that. And in the process, I already had that episode done. And so technically that was a Friday episode that I shifted to Tuesday. So this is technically a Tuesday episode that got shifted to Friday. And so what does that mean? It means it's time for a lemonade review. And so today I am going to be trying the Calypso Original Lemonade. It's a Taste of the Islands. Taste of the Islands. Original lemonade with real lemon bits. You can see that right there on the label. This has 7% juice. Ingredients of filtered water, sugar, lemon juice from concentrate, citric acid, lemon fruit pulp, natural flavor, modified food starch, beta-carotene, EDTA to protect color. This comes to us from the King Juice Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And it is natural flavors, island inspired. So we're going to shake the bottle up. It's been sitting out a little bit, so it's got some condensation going on. We got some bubblies in there. I don't think this is carbonated. I would hope not. I'm not a big fan of the carbonation. That would take it down on the list quite a bit if it were. Ooh, there we go. We got a pop. All right. Give the old Calypso Original Lemonade a try. It's good. It's sweet, but it's not too sweet. It has a little bit of a lemonade bitter bite to it. Subtle lemonade bitter bite. I haven't found one yet that's just like, ooh, lip pucker, bitter bite. It reminds me quite a bit of the Milo's lemonade. It's very similar to the Milo's. It's very good. I like that it comes in the glass bottle. I dig a glass bottle. I don't think enough things come in glass bottles anymore. It's probably expensive, but I dig it. All right, so let's review and reflect here. So we have Milo's at an 8. Prairie Farms, which I didn't realize was a super local regional thing to my area. I thought it was a much broader brand, but shows what I know. So yeah, that's super hyper local to me. Sorry about that, guys. But that got a 9, and that was a super good lemonade. Very sweet. That's what rated that high was its sweet level. It was very sweet. I enjoyed that. The Simply Lemonade scored an 8.5. So we're in that range. The Calypso, it reminds me a lot of the Milos, like a lot of the Milos. I think I'm going to go ahead and score it an 8 as well. I think I'm going to put it with the Milos at an 8. So everything's kind of hanging close to one another here. I need something that really breaks out. And I haven't quite found that yet. I also think I'm maybe clustering these up really bad because like I'm looking at my list, it's 8, 9, 8.5, 8. And then I technically know what the next one is as well because I've already done it. But you will find that out on Tuesday. That one gets a little asterisk though. It's a little. It's the Roger Maris of the lemonade reviews. And anybody who knows about the 61 with the asterisk, they get what I just talked about there. Anyway, so yeah, Calypso original lemonade, solid 8. Still looking for that 10. Haven't found a dog yet. That's good. I'm glad I haven't found a dog yet because I really don't want to have spent money on a shitty lemonade. That would suck. I don't want that. But anyway, all right. So we have the lemonade review down. Well, I guess that means it's time to talk about the socials. I'm available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I am on Facebook where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. It's a private group so that I can try and keep the Facebook admin gods away from me as long as I can. So you can find that, jump in and request to jump in on that. I'll admit you. And then you can start sharing what cigars you're smoking and making friends. I'm on Twitter/X. You can watch the show on Rumble and YouTube. Every Wednesday, I do the drive time reviews. They are short cigar reviews. They come out at 7 a.m. Every Wednesday on YouTube, Rumble, and TikTok. They're video reviews. I don't do those as podcasts. It's just little video reviews. You can check those out on YouTube, Rumble, and podcast or TikTok. What else? There's that. Ask the Pulpit. We did an Ask the Pulpit episode today. You guys, this is very valuable to me. I truly enjoy hearing from you guys. It helps me out a lot with show prep. So if you want, give me a call on the hotline, area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. Ken and my dad threw down a bunch of different things for you guys to call into the hotline about during their little takeover episode that they did. If you haven't listened to that episode, give it a listen. It's the one labeled about 10 cigar accessories you must have because I haven't gone back to change the title. Yeah, call in about some of the stuff they threw down because they threw out a lot of different things. Now, I will say, I do know quite a bit of you took your sweet time listening to the episode with Trey Mack and Teddy. I understand. It was a 3-hour marathon practically. So maybe you're just catching up and getting to the point where you've listened to the episode with Ken and my dad. I respect that. Everybody's got their life and they're busy and they can't just sit and listen to me all day long. So, that's fine. But give me a call on the hotline at area code 863-874-0000 or tofu pie with no E 0000. And finally, the Cigar Chronicle newsletter. Head on over to cigarpulpit.com. A little pop-up box comes up there. You can enter your email address into that, and you'll be signed up to receive the Cigar Chronicle newsletter. It comes out once a month, and it'll hit your inbox. It's full of cigar news, goofy news, some did you know and trivia. But for those of you who are getting it, hopefully it's been beneficial. Send me your photos of you guys hanging out and smoking cigars together. I have a section in the newsletter where it's kind of like the pictures in the back of Cigar Aficionado where people are sitting around and smoking cigars together and shit. I love that section, and that's like one of the few parts of Cigar Aficionado that I think is worth it. And most of the time I don't even know anybody, so I don't know why I think it's worth it, but I do. I think it's fun. So send me your photos. Just if you're sitting around with some buddies, just take a quick selfie of all of you and send me that. Shoot me an email with the photo and the names of everybody that's smoking, and I'll include it in the newsletter. We'll blast it out there. We'll make everybody. We'll show your fun time to everybody. And I would greatly appreciate that. You can email that to Nick, N-I-C-K, at cigarpulpit.com. By the way, for Ask the Pulpit questions, you can email me as well. You don't have to use the hotline. You can email me at nick@cigarpulpit.com as well if, let's say, maybe you're a little shy about getting on the phone. Whatever. I get it. And I am seeking lounges that are open to having complimentary, totally free copies of the Cigar Chronicle newsletter for people to just sit and read when they're sitting in the cigar lounge having a cigar. If you own a lounge, if you're tight with a guy who owns a lounge and you want to talk to him about it and them about it, whatever, and you want to be like an ambassador for the Cigar Chronicle for me, just shoot me an email and I will get some. I'll get some copies and we'll make it happen for you. So I've already received that from Dakota, and I haven't forgotten that, Dakota. We'll get that taken care of. But let's spread the word. We're spreading the word. We're having fun, and you look at these magazines and the amount of money they're charging these companies to run their ads and everything like that, and it's like, guys, I don't know. I feel like that money could be better spent elsewhere and significantly less of it. So anyway, that's all I'm saying. Okay, well, I am... damn thing went out on me again. I've been talking too much. I've been enjoying the West Tampa Red in the Lancero. It had a very interesting flavor note early on, especially in the retrohale. It was... almost like barbecue-ish, slightly, but not close. It wasn't like it was like fire cured or anything like that, but it was there. It was good. I have to admit, the West Tampa White, was lights out amazing in the Lancero. The red, I don't know if the Vitola makes a difference for the red. But the white, it definitely did. And so I would say that with the white, try it in the Lancero. The red, you could go Toro. You can go Lancero. It's all kind of up to you. I would probably say the white, though. If you're looking for a fun ride, the West Tampa White in the Lancero is a good time. So anyway, there's that. Well, guys, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen, as always. This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Everybody, stay safe and stay smoky. I was trying to smoke up the camera lens there. That was pretty fun. Anyway. All right, guys, take it easy.